Hey there friends, welcome to Just the Gems. I'm Brandon. This is the giant zit growing on the side of my face. He insisted that I introduce him this time. He's looking to make some friends in the area, you know. Anyway, today is the day that maybe 3 of you have been waiting for. Today is the day I talk about my Nintendo Wii collection. That's right, we're gonna dive into my stack of shame, my pile of pride, talk all about the games that I've never played, the games that I've played and loved, the games that I never want to play again. It's bound to be a good time, so please stick around. Before we dive in, I just want to ask that you would please like the video. It helps out a ton. Please, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. It helps me to know that you're out there, that you enjoy the sort of content that I make. If you're already subscribed and you're watching my content, thank you so much. You are just incredible people. I still honestly can't believe that anybody watches any of the stuff I make, so the fact that you're here and coming back consistently and leaving comments and liking the video, like, it just blows my mind. So thank you so much. Now, this is the second time that I've sat down to record this video. The first time I made it suavely through my entire collection, shooting off one-liners that would make the whole world smile. Finished up and came to realize that I shot the entire video in time-lapse mode. I'm a professional YouTuber. So we're gonna give this another go. This time I'm 75% more sure that I'm doing it right. So let's see how it goes. Now to kick things off, why don't we start with the stack of shame. First up, A Boy and His Blob. Now I loved the original A Boy and His Blob on the NES. Just a fantastic game. I loved running from screen to screen, throwing different colored jelly beans into my little friend here, watching him turn into various things. I had no idea what was going on, what the objective of the game was, where I was supposed to go, but it was cool. I really liked it. This one says you feed the blob 15 jelly beans that are legally distinct, I'm sure, from anything produced by the Jelly Belly Corporation. Feed the blob 15 jelly beans that transform it into, transform him into useful tools. They've gendered the blob. I'll take their word for it. Arcrise Fantasia, best known, I think, for having allegedly terrible voice acting.
You little snitch, Nico! Ah!
I'm assuming that's true because the internet wouldn't lie to me. But putting that aside, this looks like the sort of thing I'd be into, right? Like, you know, there's a guy here, he's got spiky hair, he's got a giant sword. There's this lady here, she looks like she's probably the main heroine because she's like praying, and I feel like the main heroine in these games is usually like really meek and pious, prayerful stuff. This gal looks like she's having a good time, a little cutting loose, you know? A little more wild and wacky. And I don't know what's going on with him. I don't like him already. Looks like a tool. Let's see. The planet is under threat from Ho-Zone crystallization. Ho-Zone. Under threat of getting crystallized in one's Ho-Zone? What is a Ho-Zone? I don't know. If you ask me, it doesn't sound like the worst place to be. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for that joke. Calling. Look at that creepy kid. Got a little creepy stuffed animal. Why kids gotta be so creepy? If you're watching this and you're a kid, why are you so creepy? Kids are creepy. Look at that. He's just standing there. Still creepy as heck. So this is a horror experience that takes place across 4 different characters' unique perspectives. Don't know a ton about it. The story, the black page is a source of many rumors. Page is blank with only a visitor counter, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it sounds like the gist of it is that there's a website that people with darkness in their hearts can go to, and then they get connected to a chat room. So anyway, you get let into this chat room, and then you receive a phone call from the depths. I guess that's fine, as long as it's, you know, not a collect call. That joke doesn't work anymore. Let me tell you, jokes about collect calls, Gen Zers are scratching their heads thinking, what is this old doofus talking about? What is a collect call? Anyway, I may have to give that one a try around Halloween. It looks reasonably interesting, so. Donkey Kong Country Returns. Donkey Kong Country Returns or Donkey Kong Returns? I guess it's the return of the Donkey Kong Country series. Whatever. So DK is back in an all-new adventure. He's jumping and swinging across Donkey Kong Island in search of Donkey Kong's missing banana hoard. That's right. Once again, his bananas have been stolen. You gotta get them back. I guess maybe that's the problem with having a main character in your game series that doesn't really have a personality of any kind. Like, what do? You don't develop a character like that. He has no personality, really. You just give him the same goal over and over and over. It's like Mario has to rescue Peach, Donkey Kong has to rescue Banana. That was a fruit joke. Little fruit joke for you. Anyway, that's Donkey Kong Country. You don't really need to say a ton about it. I'm sure it's great. I'll probably play it one of these days. Fatal Frame 4, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. So this game never came out in North America. And being the completionist and a survival horror fan, survival horror is probably my second favorite genre of game, actually. Anyway, I could not abide not having this on my shelf. So the first thing I did was I purchased a copy of the game from Japan, just the disc. Pretty cheap. Came in a couple weeks. The next thing I did was purchase this custom-made English Fatal Frame 4 case to put it in. Then, I wasn't done because I couldn't play the game. So I had to modify my Wii so that not only could it play Japanese import games, but so that I could patch it with the English fan translation. So I went through all of that, spending all that money, taking all that time, risking bricking my Wii for the sole purpose of being able to play this game. And not too long after, Nintendo and Koei Tecmo announced that it was coming west. Officially. So the moral of the story is, never do anything. Because it's all a waste of time. You can take that to the bank. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to playing that. I am going to just wait now until it's officially released on the Switch and play it that way. I think it's going to be fantastic. Really excited to fill that gap in the series. Hopefully, if that sells well, along with Fatal Frame 5, we'll see a continuation of the series. That would be fantastic. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, The Crystal Bearers. Yes, Nintendo's consolation prize of a Final Fantasy series continues with this one. I'm kidding. I'm sure it's fine. I've never really been super interested in the Crystal Chronicles games. They all sort of looked kind of generic to me, kind of blasé fantasy, not really my cup of tea. The multiplayer aspect, get out of here with that. I can't play with other people. Does not play well with others right here. So yeah, it's very low on my list. I don't know if or when I will ever get to that. Why do I have it? Because I'm sick. You know that by now. Mario Kart Wii. How have I not played Mario Kart Wii? I don't know. I never actually owned this the first time I had a Wii. Never picked it up. I don't know why. I always loved Mario Kart. Mario Kart 64 was one of my all-time favorite party games. Fantastic. But yeah, never played this. I've played a few of the tracks, the ones that they brought over to Mario Kart 8. But yeah, it doesn't really count. So yeah, I've never played Mario Kart Wii. I think what they're doing here on the cover with these Wii wheel things, I think that just looks awful. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I just can't imagine that is accurate or fun. I would be happy to be wrong, but that just looks horrible. So I think for a while, this was maybe the best-selling racing game of all time, which, I mean, that's something, so. Mario Kart Wii. Muramasa, the Demon Blade. This is another just gorgeous vanillaware 2D side-scrolling action game. Just gorgeous. The art that they make for their games when they're not being like super gross, is like just fantastic. I love the style that these guys have developed over the years. Phenomenal. Now, I wish that I had this on the Vita, because I feel like that's like the definitive version of the game. Plus, I think I've said before on this channel, the Vita cases are just so freaking cute. But if I had to choose between having no version of the game and having the Wii version, take the Wii version. Nights, Journey of Dreams. So I played the original Nights into Dreams on the Sega Saturn, cumulatively probably 2.5 hours, something like that. It's fun, you know. It's entertaining. You know, the movement is really fluid. You know, flying around, looping around, collecting gems or whatever it is you're collecting. Decently fun, I would say. I have a major problem with the bosses in that game. It's never, ever, ever clear to me what I'm supposed to do to kill the boss. And you have a limited amount of time, and if you lose the fight against the boss, it's not like you just get to try again. You go all the way back to the start of the level. Have to start completely from scratch. And there's only so many times I can do that before I destroy my television. So, didn't get too far. Definitely not the level of masterpiece from Yuji Naka that Sonic the Hedgehog was. But at least he didn't go to jail over it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I found this, the Wii sequel, at a used game store for really cheap, and for some reason, I bought it. There you go. Obscure, The Aftermath. This is, I believe, the sequel to an even more obscure... Does that qualify as a joke? It's literally the title. It's not a pun. This is the sequel to an even harder to come by, I think, PlayStation 2 horror game called just Obscure. I don't know. Looking at the cover, looking at the back of the box, nothing about it really seems all that interesting. I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I feel like that kind of lets the cover designer off the hook, doesn't it? Like, if you've got a good product, put in the effort to make the cover sell the product, right? I'm not saying this is bad, it's just nothing grips me. Let me know in the comments, though, have you played the Obscure games? Are they worth checking out? I don't know when or if I'm ever going to get the first one. Can I play the second one without knowing anything about the first? I'm assuming so, but yeah, let me know what you think. Pandora's Tower. Now this one actually looks really freaking cool. You play this guy here on the cover, and I guess this is like his girlfriend or something, and she's sick, and I guess the only thing that can make her better is eating the organs of monsters, which is like metal as heck, right? Like that's metal. So you go around these towers and you're killing monsters and you're feeding her the gross entrails from these things, and that just, I don't know, sounds cool. Sounds cool. The action looks really fast and fluid and fun, so this is one that I actually am really looking forward to checking out. We'll probably do that this year. Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. So I actually have this game on the PlayStation 3 as part of the Tales of Symphonia Remastered collection deal. I will play it there. I'm not going to play it on the Wii. This is actually still sealed. But I got this as part of one of those retro game delivery boxes. And, you know, it looks nice on the shelf. I'm happy to have the original version of one of the Tales games. I don't think that this one was very well received by the Tales community in general. Tales of Symphonia obviously was like a high watermark for the series, and I guess the sequel didn't live up to that in their minds. I feel like I'll probably have a decent time with it because Tales games are just fun. They're not the deepest role-playing experiences for me, but they are in general a lot of fun. As long as it has that, I'm sure I'll probably enjoy this. Wii Fit Plus. It's Wii Fit. Again. And finally, the last game in the stack of shame. Ready? Zack and Wiki. The Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure. This looks really interesting. Now this seems to me, based on the little bit that I've seen of this, it seems like one of those kind of classic point-and-click adventure games that used to be all over PC. And it's strange to me that that genre didn't get better representation on the Wii. It's like perfect for that. You use the Wii remote as your pointer, click on the things on the screen. Like, maybe I just missed them. Are there a lot of good point-and-click adventure games on the Wii, or even any, that are worth noting? Like, let me know in the comments, because I really feel like I should play more point-and-click adventure games, especially considering how big and important they were in my childhood. I would really like to find some cool, more modern point-and-click adventure games, so let me know. All right, that's the stack of shame, everybody. That's, that's not terrible. 1, 2, 3, 14 unplayed games. By far, not the worst. Not the worst as far as unplayed games in this collection. But because we don't want to end on a downer, let's check out the pile of pride. First up, Wii Sports. Yup. I liked tennis and bowling a lot. The rest of them, Wii Fit. This game called me overweight. I didn't take it well. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm not the biggest fan of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. For one thing, the whole vibe of it is strange to me. It's all so like musical and cheerful, and the Koopa Troopas are just dancing to the music, like in time with it's so strange. And Mario is just a freaking psychopath, right? Because he's running along and there are these happy turtles doing their little happy turtle dance and minding their own business for the most part. In general, the monsters, the enemies in Mario games, they're just leaving you alone. They're just trying to live their lives. This psycho seeks them out, stomps on them, crushes them into the ground, and then kicks their shell for good measure. He is just a bona fide psychopath. And it's made even worse by just how overwhelmingly cheerful these things are. Anyway, I don't know. Not crazy about the aesthetic. And also, I don't want to sound like a gamer bro, because I'm not. Like, I suck at video games. In general, I'm not very good at video games. But I feel like the new Super Mario Bros. Games are just too easy. Like, I would love to play one of these and get to World 3 without having 80 extra lives in reserve, right? When that's happening and I'm not trying to farm lives, that suggests to me that something is imbalanced, right? Maybe work on fixing that. Anyway, rant over. It's a Mario game. Obviously, it's going to be in the collection. Mario's great. Even when I don't love it, it's still great. It's still better than 75% of other games that come out, honestly. Mario's fantastic. Well, generally, Super Paper Mario. So this one was a big letdown for me. Honestly, especially coming after the 1,000-Year Door on the GameCube, which was maybe my favorite Mario role-playing game. I don't know, that's a tall order, because the original Super Mario RPG is just a masterpiece. It's in contention for the best Mario role-playing game ever. The game immediately following that is Super Paper Mario. I like to think of a new developer that maybe they just graduated college and their first game development job is at Nintendo within those hallowed halls. And they're feeling a little bit bold on their first day, and they go up to their supervisor and they say, "You know what? I have an idea. And hear me out. It might sound a little bit crazy, but we have this character, Mario. He starred in numerous role-playing games that I grew up with that I loved. All right, Mario RPG, Paper Mario, 1,000-Year Door, fantastic games. What if, and this might sound crazy, what if we took Mario and put him in a 2D platformer?" That's just crazy enough to work, right? I know, I'm being a little bit harsh. Super Paper Mario it has some unique mechanics. There's the 2D, 3D shifting that you do, but I don't know. The whole thing about Paper Mario was that it was a role-playing game, and this is decidedly not that. And I feel like, especially coming after 1,000-Year Door, it just was a really big letdown, and I don't honestly think that the Paper Mario games have been super good ever since. So, Kind of a bummer. Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. Now this is the edition to play Resident Evil 4. The Wii remote controls for the shooting, the aiming, just make a world of difference. Now, yes, that does make the game quite a bit easier, but I'm not complaining. I suck at video games. So much better than on the original GameCube or any of the consoles that you can play it on. I think it's on basically everything at this point. I am very much looking forward to the Resident Evil 4 remake that's coming out later this year. Gonna play the heck out of that because I love all the Resident Evil remakes. They're fantastic. But this one will always have a special place in my heart. Metroid, Other M. I did not get far enough into this to figure out what the Other M was. Maybe Marmaduke? Probably Marmaduke. So the tale of Samus can now be told. Well, thank goodness. Finally, we can hear the story of Samus. The only way that this could let me down is if the story was somehow about a game developer's self-insert Larry Stu character who commands Samus, I don't know, not to do various things, and she obeys because she's got really messed up daddy issues or something. But they wouldn't do that. There's no way Nintendo would let that happen. That's nuts. So, I'm sure it's good. The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. I loved this game. I was just so enamored with this. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved Wind Waker as well. I loved the art style. If I'm being frank, I think that the art style of Wind Waker holds up quite a bit better today than the art style in Twilight Princess. It's just so unique and fanciful and cool. But art style aside, I was very ready for the sort of gritty, realistic Zelda game that this was. I just remember playing this for hours on end and just being so caught up in the story, which was kind of a change of pace. I never really thought much of the story of Zelda games, but this one really kind of caught hold of me and wouldn't let go. I wasn't crazy about the wolf parts, honestly, but I feel like that's going to happen in every Zelda game. There's always some mechanic that they squeeze in there that I'm not crazy about, but at its core, it's still Zelda, and it's still fantastic. Skyward Sword, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure that I only beat the first real dungeon. A big part of that was because my Wii was in the process of breaking down entirely when I started this game. It would get to where I would have to restart the system over and over and over to get it to even recognize that there was a disc in there. And then eventually it just stopped turning on altogether. And I never went and purchased a new Wii. I just basically threw it in the trash, sold all my games, and moved on with my life. So I never really got too far into this, never gave it, I guess, a fair shot. I wasn't loving it, I can say that for sure. The motion controls that Nintendo was just really insistent we all get on board with, not the best, not super fun for this guy. Give me the buttons, all right? These muscles, I've worked these muscles over the years. These are super strong. This is nothing. There's nothing here. Don't ask me to use this, Nintendo. The Last Story, a Hironobu Sakaguchi game. Music by Nobuo Uematsu. It's still really weird to me, actually, to see Hironobu Sakaguchi and Nobuo Uematsu's name on games that are not from Square Enix. It's just like, I don't know, in my heart, in my deluded heart, they are still there, still making Final Fantasy, and it's great. It's great. But that's not the reality we live in. In reality, Sakaguchi and Uematsu have kind of broken off. They're doing their own thing. And from what I can tell, they're doing pretty well. I played The Last Story years ago. This isn't my original copy. I sold that, of course. But I played, I don't know, probably a good 6-7 hours of this game. And I was really enjoying it, but at some point I put it aside, got distracted, never came back to it, and I'm looking forward to giving it another chance because it's a Sakaguchi game, and the man's a genius, so we're gonna play it. And finally, the last game in my pile of pride, Fragile Dreams. Farewell, Ruins of the Moon. See ya. I purchased this originally, my original copy, right when this came out, because I was very intrigued by the idea of Wii games using the Wii remote as a flashlight. And it's strange to me that seemingly not that many games actually took advantage of that. Obviously, Silent Hill Shattered Memories is the big one, but this one did it too. It's a strange kind of post-apocalyptic world. I don't remember a ton about it, actually. I know I didn't get too far. I probably played for 4 or 5 hours, put it aside, never went back to it. It's really weird to me, actually, to think about how I used to play games and how different it is from the way I play games now. Video games have always been a part of my life since I was 3. I've never not had the latest consoles. I've never not had the latest games. I've played video games pretty much nonstop throughout my life. But there was definitely a time several years ago, into my late 20s, early 30s, where, I don't know, I guess games themselves weren't that important to me. Like, I could start a game like The Last Story or Fragile Dreams and really enjoy what I played and still put it aside and just get distracted and never go back to it. That's not something that I think I could do now. Like, if I start a game and I'm enjoying it, I'm going to finish it. Like, that's just going to happen. So I don't know, it's a very different mindset that I'm in now. Like, wanting to experience these games that I like in their entirety. Not necessarily 100%ing everything, right? But getting the full gist of the story and absorbing it from start to finish. Yeah, it's hard for me to even think about how I used to be that way, but oh well, we live and we learn, I guess. Anyway, that's it. That's my Nintendo Wii collection, the stack of shame, the pile of pride. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really appreciate you. Once again, if you haven't subscribed and you have made it this far, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. If you're already subscribed, once again, thank you for coming back and watching my videos. It means so much to me to know that people watch this, and it's incredible. Thank you so much for everything. Am I missing any significant games in my Wii collection? I can think of a couple, but there may be more. If I'm missing any significant heavy-hitting Wii games, let me know in the comments. I am looking to expand my collection almost always, so drop your recommendations down below. And until next time, bye.